Hello, hello, hello. How are we today? It's gone miserable. We had nice weather, and it's gone horrible. Horrible with an O. Yeah, the amount of people are correct in their grammar, and I speak like that. Yes, because I'm allowed to. And those people who know, I correct them with their grammar all the time. But yeah. How are you? You okay? Are you keeping well? How's your week been? Have you been having a lovely week? It's like I don't know if it's flattering or not. You see the lines? You can see all the lines. Does my face look like leather? I thought I had good skin. It's a bit stubbly as well. But anyway, enough about me. What's going on in the world of wherever you are? Anything at all? What's been happening with me? Not a lot. Getting messages popping up. I'm gonna not try and swipe this time because it was mentioned last week. It was me doing that. Yeah. What was I saying? Yes. So it's been work. The weather was nice. I had some nice walks. Did 11 miles. I think I said that the other week, didn't I? What did I? No, bank holiday Monday. I did 11 miles. Me and Cam. 3 and a bit hour, 3 odd hours. I'm walking through the country. The weather was lovely. We only stopped to pop into the shop with no to get a drink, and we didn't have any masks because we didn't expect to be sort of carrying on. And so Cam did the old, and the guy just laughed and said, "That's fine, don't worry about it." And he just like, it's like that was fine. That was, that's what it face. I mean, essentially, it happens to be a mask here. They're everywhere now, aren't they? Essentially, that's what it is, isn't it? It's just a face covering. It's just, I don't know how much that. There's not going to be a lot of difference between that and that, but yeah. Masks. I hope they can. I don't know if you can do it as well. I still, when I'm walking through a shop, like I say, I was in Asda yesterday, and I'm smiling at people, but I got my mask on, so you can't see. You can see. I suppose you can see in the eyes a little bit, but people tend not to look at you in the eye. Not look me in the eye anyway. But I'm like that. If you make eye contact, I'm generally going to smile at you. But they're like, and I'm like, I'm mid smile. Maybe I look like a psycho. That's why. I think I smile quite nicely. I can't do it on cue. Because that's what they say, the false smile and the real smile. And the real smile is where you see the lines, and the false smile is to the ears. When they're pulling back, it's great with the squeezing the teeth, aren't they? Just pulling it back. And a real smile, you see it in the. That's what they say. You see it in the eyes. But anyway, mine generally are genuine, and I'll try and be. I haven't turned this off. I was just worked out. I had to let my sweat go down because I was sweating like a pig. So this is saying 100. I should have left it on for a little bit, but we'll go on to 126 minutes. No, an hour and 26 minutes, and I did 957 calories. That's a bit of a burn. That is. It's insanity. That's literally what it is. It was insanity, and it felt like insanity. It's like, well, I'll try and hide the clock on it. I don't know if when you've trained in the gym and you can see the when you're on the cross trainer or you're on the running machine, the treadmill or whatever. I tend to try and cover the clock, get my towel and put it over because I couldn't. Because you're constantly looking at the clock. Then like, oh, you feel like it's been like 10 minutes. Like it's been 3. Oh my god, this is never going to end. I've got to do half an hour. It's never going to end. And I swear, them clocks delay. Those slow down. Those clocks do. Because it feels like that. But yeah, it's fun times, fast times at Ridgeway High. It's my Coke Zero. I've had like 2 pints of water before this. But yeah, yes, that's whatever I was saying. That's what that is. I'm just thinking. I was just moaning just a second ago about my nutrition. I feel a bit of a loss with my nutrition. My training's not quite right because of my this strain. So I'm trying to supplement it with my nutrition, and it's not working. Everything I try is not working. So I need to, you kind of, you feel like you're, like I say, you're at a dead end, and you lose then when you start losing motivation. I don't want to lose motivation. I want to carry on working out, and I have consciously. I rested yesterday. I just went for a walk. I have consciously tried to keep on training at least, just to keep me in the groove. But everything's modified to make sure it doesn't impact my core too much because of that strain. So it's a bit of a pain, really, literally and figuratively. So we'll see. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll figure something out. I want to start doing, like I was saying about, I want to start doing jiu-jitsu, but until I get this, because a lot of that is, there's a lot of movement like with the hips and stuff like that, and I don't think I'd be able to put too much without me damaging myself even further. So I don't want to do that until I know what it is, and then I know what I need to do about it. See, even just doing that, it's not killing me. That's the thing, it's not killing me, but it's the ache that's there. So if I run on it, I can feel it. When you run on every step, you just feel the ache. It's like a dull ache, and I know if I carry on working, because you do that sometimes, and you work even through the injury, it'll be fine. You work through it, and you either you kind of adapt to it, or you make it even worse. And I don't want to make it worse. I don't want to risk making it worse, because it's right there, and it's like it affects every aspect of your training. Everything goes through your core, doesn't it? You do lower body work, or you do upper body work. Your core has to be braced, and your core has to be solid for it. And not solid in terms of you've got a 8-pack or 6-pack abs, just solid in terms of your stability, because your core isn't just your abs, it's from your knees all the way up. It's all that central part of your core, so that needs to be strong, lower back and everything. And like I say, you need to have that strong, and you need to have it functioning properly for you to have a really good training. I did a good weight workout, like with my weights, the other day. It's just like you make it up with the squats and the cleans and stuff like that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Fucking horrible sometimes when I'm doing it. But yeah, I have to keep on top. At least keep my training ticking over, just so I can when I'm back to kind of a full fitness. Plus, if I do start doing something else, I need to go in there with a level of fitness. So I need to make sure that I keep some aspect of my training up, some aspect of cardio up, because I don't want to look fucking blowing out my arse when I start doing something. Like, look at him, the old man, because I probably would be the old man. I mean, age ain't nothing but a number. Yeah, you're as old as you want to be. It's like when we were younger, you'd think 40. I'm going to be 45 this year. 45. Oh, that's well old when you were younger, but now it's like, it's actually, thinking about it, isn't that old? When yesterday I was having a 10-minute conversation with my son about what we were talking about. We're talking about the boxing, this Mayweather Logan Paul thing that's coming up. Oh, that was a stupid thing I did this morning. I thought it was on this morning, so I got up at it. I wasn't going to pay for it, but there's ways of watching these things. So I thought I'll watch it. It'd be fun to watch as a spectacle. And so I got up this morning, because I'm used to getting up these Sunday mornings anyway now. Actually, it's a good way of getting me back into the old every day waking up at 4 o'clock rather than just on Sundays. But I got up and I thought, and I was trying to find a stream, and I couldn't find a stream anywhere. I was like, what the hell's going on? Why has nobody got a stream to this? And it's like, and looking on Twitter, looking at the UFC stuff was on this. So I started watching the UFC stuff while I'm trying to find somewhere to watch it. And then I looked on, because it's on Sky Sports box office. I looked on it, it was like previews. What time's it starting then? Like, maybe it's starting at a silly time because they're like getting an international audience, and then previews all day today. Previews. The bloody event starts at midnight tonight, Sunday or Monday, Monday morning. Why are they doing it on a Sunday? I don't know. But it's Monday morning here, so it's like probably going to be at 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, so I can stay in bed and watch it now. I'll get up and stick it on. It'll be fine. It's not. It doesn't deserve the big TV. I came down the big TV because everybody else is asleep upstairs. So but I can keep up. I'll be alright tomorrow morning. But yes, but that was my stupid thing that I did. So I've been up since 4 a.m. Frustrated. I watched this series. I think it's Italian. Yeah, it's set in Milan. Italian series on Netflix called Zero, where the guy can turn himself invisible. And again, I think it's a new, maybe it's a thing that's come back into me. I started shouting at it. I don't like the way they did some parts. Generally, it was okay, but some parts of the plot, it's stupid. It's stupid. It's like the week when I was shouting at Black Summer, the zombie one. And I was like, "What are you doing? Well, you wouldn't do that." That does make sense. I don't know what goes through the writers' minds when they write stuff like that. Sometimes it just doesn't make any sense to me. And yeah, so I watched all of that. I mean, I think they're only half an hour long, and plus, because I only realised about 4:30 that the fight was until tomorrow, and the UFC had finished. So then I did the old 15 minutes of flicking through Netflix trying to find something to watch. Oh, what can I watch? I don't fancy watching that. I don't fancy, because I've got loads of stuff on my list as well. And then I'll watch that. And then I started watching it. It was alright. It was a good series. It was just like a frustrating plot points. That's what it was. But yeah, and so I ended up watching all of it. I watched the whole first series. I don't think there's many episodes. Like I said, they're not that long, so it wasn't like they were hour episodes, because I wouldn't be able to physically, unless I found the wormhole. Yeah, that was it really. That was what I heard. That Jupiter's Legacy has not been renewed for the second season, which was interesting. I thought it was pretty decent, but maybe Netflix never show what their viewing figures, like other TV entities will give you viewing figures. Netflix never show them. It's because they're a private company; they can do what they want. So if they thought that it wasn't really well received, they can. I suppose they're paying for it. So I thought it was all right. I thought it was a pretty decent series. Didn't shout at it. Can't be that bad. But yeah, there's so many things I would watch. So sometimes you fancy. Oh, what do I fancy watching? And sometimes it'll be like, I watched what films did I watch this week? I watched The Wrath of Man, which is the new Jason Statham film with Guy Ritchie. Guy Ritchie and Jason Statham back together again, which is like a revenge-y kind of movie. Obviously action-packed and very Statham-esque, but it's got a story in it as well, because of Guy Ritchie, obviously. But it was nice to have them back together. He didn't talk much, Jason Statham, which is a bit of a shame, because he doesn't have to do a stupid. It's set in America. He doesn't have to do a stupid American accent. And Scott Eastwood's in it. Clint Eastwood's son. He's quite good in it. He plays the bad guy. But yeah, it was decent. It was a decent watch. I'll watch it again. So it can't be that bad if I watch it again. It's good action. Jason Statham, he's pretty reliable for his action now. And Guy Ritchie, he knows how to sort of he plays with the timeline. It's one of those films where he gives you a bit of back and forth on the timeline, so it's like you're guessing a little bit of what's happening, which is good, because it keeps you involved in the film, keeps you thinking, which is a good thing. But yeah, that was pretty decent. Now I watched Nobody, which is Bob Odenkirk, who plays, of you Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul fans, he plays Saul Goodman. Saul Goodman, and he's been in other stuff as well. But then most people know him from that. But that's another actiony kind of, not what you expect. If you see don't watch the trailer and just watch it, and you'll see the poster. But just watch it, and it's decent. And I'm looking forward to watching The Quiet Place 2, which is out in the cinema. So I might plot a cinema trip. My son went to watch it the other day. He said it was really good. He said it was better than the first one, and he went with his friends to watch. It was nice that go to the cinema with your friends. I'm not a big fan of that, because I like, as you know, I like going to the cinema by myself. But I'm open to going with other people. I'm not saying that. I don't discount them all. Just don't talk to me. Go to watch a film. I've come to watch a film. But yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm all good. I've watched loads of films with loads of people, but it's just like, there's a whole thing about. It depends on the film as well, because I have watched shit films. Well, okay. I hate saying when they're shit films, but there are shit films. There are definitely shit films, and those shit film reviews will be coming up soon. And I expect, if I do review them, I expect you to watch them or find them at least just to see what they're like, or see the trailer. Just see the trailer, and you'll know how bad some of them are. You know what? That's what I'll do. I will. It's because it's evolving in my head of how I want to do it. I will review the film and put the trailer within the review, and maybe review the trailer. It's some awful films. I know which ones they are now because I've got them written down. I found it. I've got the messages anyway where Jenga's sent me, told me to watch them because he's the one that recommended me to them. You got to watch this. He refused to watch them because it was so shit, but he said you have to watch them because then you can tell me how bad they are. Like, okay, but yes, the shit film. What was I going to say? Which film was it? Oh, there was a film with that last Woody Allen film I watched at the cinema. I can't remember. It's always raining in New York or something like that. I can't remember the name. I'm not going to Google it now. But you can just look at one of the last Woody Allen films. I can't even remember who was in it. I watched that. I wasn't by myself when I watched it, and it wasn't the best film to watch. It was a bit boring. I think that was the first time I started actually falling asleep. Yeah, never been a big fan of Woody Allen. I know some people rave about him. Some people don't like him. Some people rave about him. And there's a cleverness, I suppose, to the comedy in his things. But you know, it's not for me. Give me, like I say, when you're talking like favourite filmmakers, because I don't like saying favourite directors. I'm talking about filmmakers. So I like Scorcese. You know, you like your Goodfellas. I'm talking about me. Like Goodfellas, and I like Casino. Those kind of films. Heat. That was Michael Mann, wasn't it? Heat. But anyway, there's that kind of film, and then I like other films like I love Tarantino. I'm a massive Tarantino fan. I've loved all of Tarantino's films. I love it. Sorry, my son. He just gave me a pagoda. I'm having one as a treat because I just burnt 900 odd calories. And it's freshly made, so they're the nicest when they're like that. You might know it as an onion bhaji. Beautiful, beautiful. It's crispy. It tastes so nice. Oh mate, that's next level shit. That is. If only you could eat it. And that overspiced. It's beautiful. Salt's bang on as well. Well done, Mum. But yeah, so Tarantino. I was watching Inglourious Bastards again the other day. It's such a good film. Like everybody in that film. Remember Christoph Waltz? Did he win the Oscar for that? He's brilliant. Brad Pitt was really good in it as well. But everybody's a performance from everybody in it. And Samuel L. Jackson does the narration of it as well, so which is ace. But my favourite will always be Pulp Fiction of Tarantino's films because it's like one of the big ones at the beginning. One of his first big movies. I hate saying movies. I like film. One of his big first films that I watched multiple times, and I still watch it multiple times, and it's still as good as I mean, no, it's never as good as the first time. No, I don't think anything is as good as the first time. Somebody was talking about that the other day. It was a joke. It was a stand-up. I can't remember which stand-up it was. I think it was Chris Rock, and he was saying that your first kiss is always going to be the best one. With a specific person, it's always going to be your best one with that person. Because after that, you know what you're expecting. Along those lines, that's not the joke, but that's along those lines he was talking. I'm talking about it. But yeah, it's just so the first time you watch it is always if you like it, it's always going to be the best time. And then after that, the thing after that was you picked up things as you go along. Oh, I never saw that in the first time I watched it. Because with his films, there's a lot of nowadays you would say Easter eggs, and there's look at that, and that's a thing pointing to that, and then there's a throwback to a film from before, or throwback to a reference to another film. But yeah, all that. But yeah, so there's those kind of, but there's like all types of films. So I remember watching what was the one with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan? Not You've Got Mail, the one before that. Sleepless in Seattle. I remember watching that. I enjoyed that. It was a good film. Nice. That's back in the days when I used to like romantic comedies. Probably that's what it was. Don't like them anymore. Don't waste my time with that shit. But yeah, film. I do like an action film. Like I said before, I like popcorn movies because you don't have to think about them. It's like just let it happen. What was quite interesting, I was watching an interview with Scott Eastwood, which is what I was saying, Clint Eastwood's son, and he was saying when with he became, I mean, he was famous because he did Raw. Because this is what his son was saying. He did Rawhide. I don't know if that's gone back in the day, but anybody older, probably older than me. I mean, I know it of it because my dad used to watch it. It was black and white. It was a black and white TV series called Rawhide. Rolling. That, and I remember it because Dad used to watch it on Channel 4, I think it was. So, but Clint Eastwood was in that, and then his son said that he was like fed up of making westerns and stuff like that, and then Sergio Leone, who made the Fistful of Dollars and Good, the Bad and the Ugly, like they called them spaghetti westerns. They're called the spaghetti westerns because they were made in Italy. They were westerns, but they were made in Italy because it had the scenery and the whatever. And he was making that over there, so he was offered that. I can't remember which one it was. Whichever one the first one was. He was offered that in Italy, and he went over to Italy, and I was like, I'll do it. And he went over to Italy, made these films, and whatever. But they were titled in Italian, so I don't know whatever it was titled. But he didn't realise how much it blew up in America because they were done in English, but they were just titled because they were released in it. I think they were released in Italy first, so they were titled in Italy. So he only knew the Italian title to it. He didn't know the English title to it. So this film came out in America, and people were talking to him and saying, "Have you seen this Western film? It's meant to be really good." And like without mentioning. And he's like, "Oh, well, I'll look into it." So I haven't heard of it, and he didn't know it was his film. It's like, and then it was massive, and launched him into his big, massive movie career, but film career. But yeah, he didn't even know. He didn't even know that his film that he'd just made, or he'd made, not just made. It's never just made. It's like it takes a couple of years to make these films. Was blowing up in America, and it was because he was just had the Italian title in his head. He didn't know that the American version of it was blowing up and making him a big star, and it's good. It was interesting. It was an interesting interview. But yeah, that's so my kind of film. I haven't got a kind of film now. It's just I'll watch something. I know, like I say, I've got that bloody Jennifer Lopez film on my list at the moment with what's called The Second Act, which is like some advertising-y, makeup-y kind of thing going on. I've got this. I'm watching that bloody. I don't know if I mentioned it on here. I know I spoke to somebody about it. I'm watching that Glow Up on BBC Three, or it's on iPlayer, which is Britain's best makeup artist. I don't know why. I just started watching it. I'm like, this is interesting, and I'm like, I'm in it. I'm invested in it now, and it's the final next week or this week coming. So it's they crown the best makeup artist, and there's 2 girls and a guy left. Yeah, 2 girls and a guy left. It's just interesting. But it was like, because you equate makeup artists as like, but they've done all sorts of stuff. They did a prosthetics one. They did like a Peaky Blinders. The lady that did Peaky Blinders makeup was one of the judges, and they had to do like a wound as one of the challenges, like an existing wound and an old scar. And they showed them a picture of what the fresh scar would look like, what it looked like 6 months ago, and you had to age it 6 months, and it's like, and it was like that's because that's all makeup, isn't it? It's not just like putting some lipstick on and a bit of blusher and whatever. So there was all sorts going on, and yeah, it's like it's actually quite interesting. Not that I'm gonna be whacking some blusher on, but in for a penny and all that. Yeah, so. Yeah, don't limit yourself. Just watch what you want to watch. Watch what you enjoy. That's the best way. And I watch all sorts of crap. As you know. TV teaches me a lot. It's always taught me a lot. It's been the best teacher. I was me and Cam have all sorts of conversations, but it was one of the things we were talking about. He mentions quite often because we were talking about back in the day when I was younger. So basically, you're going into the 90s. When we used to live in Wolverhampton, and we had a 3-bedroom semi-detached house, and both of my sister's weddings were done from that house. Now, many of you know what sort of Punjabi weddings are like. Punjabi Indian weddings are like. We have a lot of family. We have a big family, both sides, my mum's side and my dad's side, and it's like everybody's invited. So nowadays it's like, because you tend to have, it's like the wedding. A lot of it, all the stuff that happens with the cultural stuff that happens before, it goes over a few days. But the main day is like the wedding day. So you got your wedding ceremony, and then a lot of the time after the wedding ceremony you have a reception, which is like standard. But then prior to that you have other stuff, like there's cultural stuff that happens. I'm not going to go through every single thing that happens every single day. But say for instance when my cousin got married recently, Gav got married. It's going to be 2 years this year. I can't believe it's going to be 2 years this year. Last year's like a write-off, isn't it? 2 years this year. And so essentially the wedding stuff started a week before. So he was getting married on the Sunday, so the wedding stuff started a week before. But it's not like, and then it's like a party every day. It was like, there was just cultural stuff that happens that day, and then it's only for a few hours, and then that's it. And then next day it's something, might be something small, and then in earnest you're probably looking from the Wednesday, from the Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday. And then what we tend to do is have what we call a pre-wedding party. So if you're on the guy's side and the girl, they will have their own individual part, because there's other cultural stuff that happens during those days, the day before the wedding. So so the guys will have their side, their family party, and the girl side will have their family party wherever they live. And, so it's all separate. That's all separate. You just do it with your own family. But nowadays you tend to do like hire out a venue. So I mean, you've probably seen what the venue. There's loads of venues all over the place now that like, they call them banqueting halls or banqueting suites, or conference. I mean, you call conference. Back in the day when I was younger, even a wedding reception, people used to hire a sports hall in school or something like that. Nowadays they have like specialist places that do these things. So but even for the pre-wedding party, that's what generally what people do, is do they'll hire out a venue of some description that will accommodate the guests, get catering in, or waiters and stuff like that, and then kind of everybody enjoys the party. Normally it's like you bring your own alcohol. They have the bar, open bar, in terms of beers and stuff like that. Anything like spirits wise, which is normally like vodka, whiskey, Bacardi. So it'd be like, so Gav's was Ciroc, Jameson's, and Bacardi. Yeah, there was Bacardi drinkers, and there's some wine knocking about as well, because some people said they asked beforehand, can you do you have wine? So there was like a few cases of wine knocking about as well. But yeah, so that's generally how it is. And then the venue would provide beer, so like lagers and whatever they have in the bar. However, you negotiate with them in terms of the deal of what you want, cider, lager, whatever, they'll supply that. So all the spirits you supply yourself, and all the beers they supply. But back in the day, so when my sisters got married, a lot of the stuff nobody ever used to do a venue. There was no wait. If there was, I'd never seen it myself. So it was like, basically you could do catering, but generally when you were doing stuff at home, everybody kind of just gets together and does it themselves. So you have to imagine, I mean, I always remember my older sister's wedding, because it was like mental. You have a marquee in the garden, which you call it a marquee now. We say a marquee now. We all used to call it a tent. Some of the older folks still call it a tent. Do the tent in the garden. It's like, that's what it was. It's a tent. Do the tent. So yeah, so we'd have the marquee in the garden. It was a blue and white one, from what I remember. And we had a little sort of lean-to kind of conservatory at the back of our house. So the lounge into the conservatory. So you open the slide doors, 2 slide doors, and then we had the tent door quite close to the slide door. So it was like one massive long room in the end. And with the amount of I always marvel, because we still got the video and sometimes we do watch it. I always marvel at the amount of people we got in that house, because it was a 3-bedroom semi in Wolverhampton, and we must have had men and women. So it was basically women were in the lounge part of the house, and then all the blokes were in the tent, and it would just like every so often there'd be a crossover, and we'd have music. So we'd have the sound system inside the house, but one speaker would be in the tent, and one speaker would be in the lounge. It was Harmy's and Jang's wicked. Oh God, what type of sound system? It was badass, man. So loud. It was so loud. It was so good as well. Yeah, we had that wired up in the house. So, and you just put your own music on. It was like no DJ. My sister did this like loads of different mixtapes of all the latest songs, and it was like, and they'll just play and play. Next one, that finishes, put the next one in. That finishes, put the next one in. It was like, and it was crazy. But you're looking, I mean, we in the region of 100 plus people in the house, including kids. You're definitely going 100 plus. And like I say, it was just a 3-bedroom semi, and it was all catered for by family. It was all catered for. Like, we bought the stuff, and cooking of food. Like, he's back again. He was back again. Yeah, so it was like it was all catered for. So yeah, so the blokes would make like the meat, and when we say meat, it was normally chicken, like chicken tikka. But so they'd make lamb as well sometimes, and they'd have massive pots, and have a outside get a propane gas bottle, hook it up to the gas burner for outside, and that would be in the garden, and the blokes would be cooking that in the garden, and they'd chuck a bottle of whiskey in it or something, just to give it a bit of kick on the lamb, because the women generally weren't going to eat it, because women generally don't, within their culture especially then, don't drink. So that was just for the blokes. Some of the kids might have had it as well, but it was generally just for, because it was a bit spicier as well. Because when some of my uncles got cooking, they would chuck a lot of spice in there, because that's what they liked. But it was nice. We had like a barrel in the tent, so you can hire the cooler and stuff. You know, there was a few people that did. My dad knew a few pub guys, and so go and pick that up and set up. So you had your own pump system, like a bar, in the garage, in the tent. Sorry. So you just pour in your own pints. It was like a 200 pint barrel that we had for like 4 days or 5 days. We finished it because my dad's. I remember. I'll come to that. But yeah, it was crazy. But then you think, and my other sister, that was my older sister, my next sister, my other sister, the middle sister. She had the same kind of setup as well, and it was. And nowadays, you'd think nobody would ever do that. I don't know there's facilities to be able to do that, but nobody would ever make that much effort in their own house to accommodate that many people, to do that much, like I say, with the cooking and then the cleaning afterwards as well. Because you have to have that amount of people in your house. It's a lot of mess that has to be sorted out, especially during a wedding when you're stressed out anyway. And it was just a mental time, man. Do you know, I think, and it's one thing Cam says, like that. Now, like I would say, now we're lucky enough to live in a 4-bedroom detached house, and that's not just us, but there's other people as well. And it was given back in the day, the houses. It's different in Punjabi, but I'll say it in English. The houses were smaller, but the hearts were bigger, and now the bigger the house, the smaller the heart. Which there's a truth to it as well, because you see it now. There are people a little bit less accommodating than they used to be. That's what it feels like anyway. Not everybody, some really accommodating people. But yeah, it's just a shift in it. There's been a shift, and everybody kind of is. Before it used to be very open and looking. I don't know. There might be something. I'll have to think about it more to see what was the change and why people did. I've got some thoughts on it, but I haven't really fleshed them out in my head. But yeah, it was just. But there's a truth to the older hearts are smaller than they used to be. But yeah, the barrel. So it was the Monday. So the Monday is generally the last day of the wedding stuff. So if you basis on the basis of the wedding was on the Sunday, and then so the Monday there's a cultural thing that happens on the Monday as well. So that's generally, and then after all of that had finished, my dad said to me, it was me, one, two, there was about 6 or 7 of us. He said he had his like kind of last point, and I'm going to bed. Like we had it was because my sister's wedding was in the winter. It was in January, so we had the butane gas fire sitting there, keeping us from freezing our asses off. And my dad said, "You have to finish the barrel because we've got to take it back tomorrow." So he said to us, "Finish it." So there was like 6 or 7 of us, and we just finished. I don't know how many pints we finished, because then we probably jumped on spirits. Had such a laugh. We were only there for a couple of hours. It was one of those. It's like, yeah, and we just like 6, 7 lads just talking shit and then drinking in the cold with the fire on. It's one of those things. It's one of those things that in your heart you always remember those times. Those were special times. And like, you know, when you say, I wish I could go back to specific times just to experience it once again. Those, like, that's one of them. That was just it was just so much fun, and it was like it always puts a smile on my face when I think about that. And I haven't thought about it for that. Hence the reason I'm smiling. This is just coming to me as I'm riffing along as I normally do. But yeah, that was a fun time. That was. Cried a lot at that wedding because my sister. You have to think of Indian, Punjabi weddings, Indian weddings. That was the first time I remember properly sort of doing the cry without being slapped, without being in trouble, because that was so within our so that's the first. That was my sister. It was on the Sunday, so my sister was leaving the house for the last time basically, because like she's going to her new house with her husband, and then, like, you know, so it was like, you have to think somebody that she was in her 20s. I've known all my life. She's been there all my life. We've lived in the same house, and she's looked after me. And then all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, you know, it's building up, and there's a lot of emotion at that point, because that's what happens. I mean, you know, she's leaving and people are crying, especially a lot of the women, a lot of the blokes as well, because like you say, my sister was and is always looked up to. So it's like the daughter is leaving the house, and get caught up in that emotion, and you feel it as well, and it's like, oh, it's just it was a crazy time. Because I know it still affects, because Mom, when she watches when the video's on, she'll still have a tear in her eye when that little bit comes. You can't finish it then because it gets too emotional. But yeah, she still has, like, you know, see her eyes go red and stuff like that. So, and yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? It's a very emotional, that bit. So you have all the jovial all the way up to that point, and then it's like I suppose it's a release as well. It's like a release of emotion that it's built up to that point, and that's why it's so emotional. Have a look, you'll see when the bride leaves the house. If you have a look on YouTube, I'm sure there's some videos. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with this one. I was just kind of riffing along. Have I got anything else to say? Probably got loads to say. I might start writing stuff down in the week, because sometimes I'm sitting there going, I'll talk about that this week, and it's not like I'll just write down what I want to talk about, not everything that I'm going to say, because everything that I'm going to say is that all just it comes off the top of my head. The old as I've mentioned, as somebody wants to take and welcome to use the verbal diarrhea. You're welcome to use it. It's fine. It's verbal diarrhea is for everybody, not just for me. Not just for Christmas. I have made myself laugh a few times this week, actually. I don't know what I was like, some random stuff I've said to myself, which has been quite amusing. Yeah. There's this old thing with the old restrictions. We don't know what's happening with that yet. There's the old thing with travel. That's all messed up. It's a good start for these restrictions lifting. I'm glad to see some of the businesses are kind of, I wouldn't say bouncing back, but at least they're getting some business. They're doing some, doing something to be able to at least make some money. Because, I'm saying, they've been struggling, man. Some of these, like pubs and places like that have been struggling. So let's hope people can bounce back. I'm more worried about the independents rather than the big conglomerates. They can suck a dick. They'll be all right with it, but like I say, the superstores and stuff, they've been smashing it. And it's like, the small like independent pubs who have just got one business, and that's what they rely on. Then you know what? All more power to them. Let them live, man. Let them make some money. They've been struggling for so long. It's been difficult, and it'd be nice to frequent some of these establishments to have a beverage or two with some like-minded friends and relatives. That was well put, wasn't it? Yeah, but it's nice to go out for a drink. In other words, nice to go out and drink and have a laugh and a joke. Because I've missed it. You can hear mum beating up the dishes. I don't know if you can hear that, because the kitchen's just outside the dungeon. But yeah, it's funny. I think we're looking at the moment, which could change, but depending on all these cases and all this stuff that's happening with these different variants. We're looking at the 21st of June at the moment, which is, what's the date today? The 6th. So it's like 15 days. So it's a couple of weeks basically. So we're looking at a couple of weeks before this. What's meant to happen is most of the restrictions are meant to be lifted then. But then it's all dependent on these variants and different things. I haven't had my second vaccination. I've had my first vaccination. I haven't had my second on the brain. You've got. I haven't had my second one yet. Mine's not till like next month. It's at the moment scheduled. So we'll wait and see. I'm just trying to keep healthy. I mean, I took advantage of going out in the sun this week, so I've been trying to walk as much, like especially when the weather's like that. You can't not go outside and just get some of that, or get some of that sun on you. Just make you feel better. It was weird. I was listening or reading something, and like one of the things they said on that was talk to a stranger today. Like, do this, try doing this, try getting out, try talking to a stranger. And I was like, I talk to anybody anyway. And it was weird because that day I happened just to have a little conversation with I went up the Wrekin. I was like, I'm gonna go up the Wrekin. As I was walking down, there was a lad who was walking down, and he was like, and he just said to me, "Oh, I'm glad I'm walking down. I'm walking back down now, not going up." And I said, "Yeah, is it like I was just having the general?" I said, "It's much better. It's a bit easier on your knees, don't go." And he said, "It's the first time I've ever been up there." And we're having a nice little conversation as we're going down. It was nice. It was like the guy was from Sturgely. We didn't exchange names actually, which is weird. But he was like local. You can tell. He's from Wolverhampton originally. You could tell by the accent, but and he could tell from me as well. But yeah, he lives locally in Telford, and like a nice little fist bump at the way. Take care. And it was like, talk to a stranger. Have a nice little 5-minute conversation with a stranger. Nothing wrong with that. Like I said the other week, just be nice, smile on your face, be friendly, and you can make somebody's day. He was saying how he was just like, I don't know, he didn't say specifically why, but he was just in a bad mood. He said he was in a bad mood this morning, and I woke up and I was like just in a rough mood. He said he spoke to his dad, and his dad said, "Go and have a walk up the Wrekin. You've never been up there." He's only been in Telford for like a year. I said, "Go and have a walk up the Wrekin. You've never been up there. You'll feel better." And he was like, because I said, "That's what you do. Is it exercise? It helps you clear your brain, and this, because you if you're doing a good hard workout, you've got nothing else to focus on. Because when you're not doing anything, if for instance you're not feeling too well mentally, and you're in a funny place, see, I changed my position, and you're in a funny place. This is from experience, and this is from a lot of people that I've listened to and learned from as well. So if you're in a funny place mentally, you generally, if you're sitting there, you're thinking about a million different things. which is probably making you worse. When you go and do something like a hard workout or a hard bike ride, or whatever floats your boat in terms of like making that struggle, which I've talked about before. When you create that struggle, you've got nothing else to focus on but getting through that struggle, and that's what it helps you clear your mind. It helps you give you a bit of clarity, and then at the end of it, you feel relieved and you feel better mentally. There's a load off your mind. Those things are still going to be there, but sometimes because you overthink it, you make it worse. That's how I feel. So I wasn't in much of a mood this morning. Probably didn't help that I got up at 4 o'clock this morning to watch a fight that didn't happen. but just because of that, I decided I was only going to do like a half an hour, 25 minute, half an hour workout. I decided to you know what, fuck it, I'm going to do the 1 hour insanity, which ended up being 1.5 hours because I just did a bit of shadow boxing at the end of it as well, just to loosen my shoulders up a little bit, and it feels nice punching nothing, like talking to nothing. Just it was nice. It felt nice. Felt punches, but yeah, but I feel better now. I feel so much better now. It'd be interesting to see if I'd have done this without working out of what I would have talked about, because I feel a bit more lighter. Not a little bit more, a lot lighter. I'm going to go for a walk later on. I'll see what Cam's doing. See if he wants to go for a walk, because I think the rain's eased off now. It's stopped. I don't think it's going to rain. It's just the weather's not too bad. It's cloudy, but it's not too bad, so it'd be worth a walk probably. But yeah, definitely that's probably something to take away from this, is that give yourself a struggle. Give yourself something to focus on 100%. And that's normally hard for me and for a lot of people, because we ain't going to have bears chasing us. So you have to kind of create your own, and giving yourself a hard workout. Hit me up if you want a hard workout. I can send you some. I've got a few, and I'll tell you how to receive them as well, because it's not that difficult. But yes, anyway, I've rambled, talked for nearly 50 minutes. Should I make it up to 50 minutes? I'm factoring for 30 seconds of the intro. I'm sure I can manage that with my little finger. I wanted to cut the grass. I was annoyed about that, because I wanted to cut it yesterday. I was like, no, we're going to do this, we've got to go there, got to do this, got to do that. And then it was like 6 o'clock. I'm not cutting it now. It's like 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock is 6 o'clock. Then I thought I'll do it tomorrow, and it woke up this morning. Somebody told me not to sing anymore. I can't be called Daljit Singh and not sing. Yeah, and it flipping rained, didn't it? And so I'm not gonna. I don't like cutting it when it's wet, because it doesn't cut properly. It gathers. It doesn't. Yeah, it just makes it messy, and it's like it's too much picking it all up and tidying it all up, and I can't get my lines right and anything like that. Nothing goes right when it's wet. So I've got to let it dry and probably do it in the week. The hedge needs cutting as well, so that's not a euphemism for anything. There's a hedge that we've got inside of the house that needs, and it takes fucking ages doing that as well. So that'll probably be my struggle next week. It's not the cutting, it's the picking up of all the leaves. And both sides, you have to do inside and outside. But yeah, anyway, that is first world problems of the highest order. What have I got? I haven't got much else to say. I'm a little bit hungry now. I haven't eaten. I had some cheese this morning. I was like waiting for the box. I'll have a little bit of cheese, so I had a little bit of cheese. I had some snacking cheese, so I had a little bit of cheese while I was not watching the boxing. And then I think Mom's made me something to eat, so I'm gonna go and have a nosh on that. And then see what the rest of the day brings me. Back to work tomorrow. I'm gonna take a day off this week probably. See if I can get to the cinema. Yeah. Anyway, I will now love you and leave you. I hope you have a wonderful week. I will be back again next week to see you in all of your glory. And as ever, miss you, love you. Ta-da.